your boy looking good. Your boy looking good. So, oh, let me take these off. You know what I'm saying? I'm just getting inside, y'all. You know what I'm saying? We're running a little late, man. You know, had to do a couple of things before we get in. We let this run up a little bit. You know, even if we don't get nobody, we're gonna do it. But Raider Nation, what's up, man? How y'all doing? You know who it is. It is me, it is I, it is him, it is them. It's the king of controversy. I hear them outside. You know what I'm saying? They are rushing home to catch this live as much as everybody else is. You know what I'm saying? So, excuse me. With no further ado, like I said, I'm gonna let this run up a little bit before I get there. Thanks and shout out to everybody out there. Dirty, appreciate you, man, for the help and everything. Especially come up with a name, get me to do this. We are gonna be consistent. Twan, Eric. Uh, Shoot, NWA, everybody from NWA, Cujo. Sorry, I'm going blank right now. It's just a lot of things going on in my mind. Uh, but if I start remembering people throughout the show, I'm gonna start shouting them out as well. Menace, NorCal Jess, everybody, man. First and foremost, man, Happy New Year. Happy 2024. And even though I'm not a fan of this team, this is 2024, the Mamba year, dedication, determination, and destruction of everybody, man. Like I said, 2024 is going to be my year. I'm taking out everybody. But like I said, I don't want to give too many kudos to that Lakers squad over there, but who it is, but what it is. Salute to everybody, man. I see people finally getting up in here. Actually, let me take a look at this. Let's take a look at the live chat for when it's there. Uh, but yeah, man. As you can see, the title, it is what it is, man. You know, we're gonna get at it. We're gonna recap the game from week. I didn't get to recap week 16. That was really a busy week, getting everything in order, especially with the holidays, the end of the season, getting things there. So I'm gonna recap a little bit of that. I'm not gonna go over too much of that, but unless everyone wants to go over that, then we'll go over that. I'm recapping this week, just past week 17, us against Indy, as well as things that I saw, things that I needs to happen, things that needs to transition. Uh, yeah, we're just gonna recap everything, man. There's been a bunch of whispers and talking. Like I said, I haven't been as active as I wanted to be, but I've been busy, man. You know, holiday family, girlfriend, dealing with their family as well, meeting up with them. Wonder how everyone else has been doing with their family. Hopefully everybody got to their destination safely, got home safely, no one got sick. You know, the holidays it gets a little bit more colder. It's a little nippy outside. As you can see today, I have this. You know what I'm saying? I even got my snow gloves, and I'm in Arizona, so you know if I got snow gloves, it's cold. Um, but let's just get right to it, man. Let's just get right to it. First and foremost. Um, uh, Week 17, man. Week 17, Raiders versus Indy. 23-20, right? Lost by a field goal. And, you know, a lot of people saying, it's mixed reviews on things of what people are saying, but a lot of people are saying things that might be considered like a cop-out. You know, refs did it again. NFL just has it against us. They don't want to see us win. Conspiracy, all this and that. Uh, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say conspiracy. It is quite ironic that, you know, that type of call will come against us. But, you know, it is what it is, man. So, with that, let's just address the things that happened, man. Tough loss, you know. Playoffs was on the line. Um, Playoff berth, chance to possibly win a division, take heat of, I could have command of everything with the win, but they couldn't just get it done. Couldn't get over that hurdle. It looked like after last week, you know, and this week looks like they played down to their competition. You know, if you just base it off of name recognition, but I'm not doing that. So you know, they went into the game. Both teams needed a win. So both teams were playing for something. Both teams were determined. Both teams fought. It was a hard fought game. No team really just didn't take command of the game. It wasn't one team had just phenomenal talent compared to the other. Both teams had injury issues, but one took advantage of the opportunity, and the other team really didn't. Offense still has its woes. Offense has not progressed. I think it's been pretty stagnant now. Everyone really knows what's going on, what's the deficiencies, and even with Jacobs out, there wasn't a running game established, but it wasn't still no identity. There wasn't any identity. There wasn't any from what was stated on what we want to accomplish. We're still trying to figure it out. They're still pass heavy in a sense. And I granted, we were behind, so they didn't want to pass, but it wasn't to the point where we just needed to abandon the run. And too many times it seems like when it comes down to like a 50-50, we can run or we can pass. They typically lean on the pass. So what we need to address first is where the offense. It's been really stagnant against subpar defenses and even against above average defenses. I mean, it looks pretty, the same in a sense. Not too many corrections are being made. Game plan is fairly simple. There's nothing really elaborate. No trick plays, no cross or misdirection. Yo, what's up? What's up, Pizzle, man? Appreciate you, man. Thank you for stopping by. But I'm just, like I'm here, man. Just giving my 2 cents, addressing a couple of things, going to state a couple of things. So I'm just recapping week 17 right now. I am going to recap a little bit of the Casey game as well. But anything you would like to hear me or want me to address, go ahead and just put it in the chat, man. And that goes for everybody. If you had a question that you want me to answer or things that just wanted to know what my opinion was on or what I'm seeing, just put it right there in the chat, man. But getting back to the issues with the offense is it's things that I seen prior to the season starting. I knew it was going to happen. I honestly felt O'Connell should have been started from game one. I didn't like Jimmy really at all. I think Jimmy is a serviceable backup, but and O'Connell is a very serviceable backup. But we don't really have a number one starter on our team. We have backups playing, which is why the offense can move the ball. The offense can put up a couple points, but when it comes time to winning a game, we can't win the game. We don't have the we have a game we have game managers at the most important part of our team, the biggest part of our team with quarterbacks. We have game managers. We don't have game leaders. We don't have a game breaker. We don't have a guy who could just go out and win a game and throw the ball to a victory. So when you don't have that, you have to play consistent ball. You have to play very determined ball, and you have to be above average in other aspects of the game. And right now, I think we definitely are playing determined ball. We're playing discipline. Discipline is another one. We have been playing discipline ball, but we kind of, compared to the last couple of games, we look fairly undisciplined this game. Especially with, I'm not gonna say especially with the offside call because it was really it was a subjective call about the Jack Jones thing, but we'll get into that later. But there was other penalties. I think that was like our eighth. That was the eighth penalty of the game or the seventh penalty of the game. But there were other penalties that were just mental breakdowns, which is like the first time I think I've seen that with Antonio Pierce led team, where there was a mental breakdown in certain moments and key moments that just you haven't seen these past couple of weeks. But this is what the offense can do. This is, I believe, this is their ceiling. Like I said, you can, depending on the matchup, when teams, certain guys are hurt, this and that, they can have a breakout game. But in a sense, this is what this is their ceiling. This was the offense ceiling. This is who they are. This is what they're going to be, regardless if Josh Jacobs is back there, regardless if Zeus is back there or Zamir White. This is what their ceiling is. It's still a team that hasn't found their identity on offense. They don't know what they want to do. They don't dictate pace. They don't dictate the line of scrimmage. Even in this game, they got pushed back on a couple of third and shorts. Even on the goal line stance where O'Connell went for the quarterback sneak at the end of the game and they didn't get it, and then he had to throw a fade that BA caught. It just showed you where we are physically, and we're not a physical team on offense. We can run the ball, but we're not physical. Like what I mean by physical is when you're finishing runs, like you're finishing runs going forward. A lot of the time they're getting, tackled sideways or getting pushed back. We're not finishing runs how we finished last year. It's more finesse, which can happen when you have Devontae Adams. You definitely can become a finesse team. Devontae, Jacoby Myers. You got Renfro. So you kind of get finesse. You kind of get pretty with things, but the offense just doesn't look pretty at all in any aspects. I mean, they do look good from time to time, but it's not pretty. So with that, that's just their ceiling. This is as good as they're gonna get. I don't think I'm gonna be honest. I don't think Josh Jacobs is gonna play the last game of the season. I think he might have wrapped it up. Um, and with that being said, I mean there really isn't much more I can talk about the offense. I mean, I've talked about the offense all season long. I've talked about what I thought about the offensive coordinator from the previous regime to the guy now. These guys just aren't good enough. They're not good enough. I don't think he deserves a second chance. I appreciate you for coming in and filling in and doing the best you could, but no, like we need something better. Uh, I guess we can move to the defense side of the ball. I know a lot of people after week 16 were super high and said we shut down Patrick Mahomes. We shut down this high powered Kansas City Chief offense. We did this, we did that. And I guess you kind of got a reality check. Because last week was Patrick Mahomes. This week, it wasn't no high powered offense. It wasn't no hired gun. It wasn't the best quarterback in the league. It was Gunnar Minshew. And we couldn't stop their offense, really. When it mattered most, we couldn't stop the offense. When it mattered most, we couldn't stop their running game. We couldn't stop Jonathan Taylor, you know. So, again, the defense isn't as advertised. I honestly been saying it's fool's gold. We've been we've benefited this season from a lot of injuries to other teams, which definitely helps when you're in a playoff run and you're trying to get things done. That definitely benefits, but it also can give a false narrative and elevate statistically wise how and you can mask things. So I was never really high on the defense. I'm still not high on the defense. I'm high on key positions. I will say the defense is better, and a lot of the time why people are just so happy and so up and like so elated by the defense is because you're comparing it to the last 2-3 decades of defense that we had, and there was utter bullshit of what we had. You're comparing it to like the worst of the worst, and when you have something that's comparable now, you're thinking that you're elevating your actual grade of what you're seeing, and they're not good. I mean, our defense is not good. Our defense has benefited heavily from the injury bug this season that's been going around the whole NFL. We've ran into 6, 7 backup quarterbacks. 7 backup quarterbacks. You're going to benefit from playing against a backup. It's a big jump from number 1 to number 2. And we've lost to a third string quarterback on top of that. Defense is better. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it wrong. Please understand. The defense is better. I said at the beginning of the season, I said we might have less wins, but be a better team because we're playing a harder schedule. Now, again, we have had a harder schedule, but we have benefited from playing more teams in the playoffs that were in the playoffs last year than I think the last season's schedule. I think we played more playoff teams on this schedule than the previous year. But when we ran into the teams, they weren't full strength. Kansas City by far wasn't full strength. They didn't have a bunch of people, and you seen what happened. That we were able to control an aspect of the game that we've never been able to do, and that's just the sense is because they didn't have their weapons. And with that, we made them one dimensional. And we were able to take advantage of it. And what happened, as you can see, not just with our quarterbacks, any quarterback, you get pressure, you fall behind, you can make mistakes. And we took advantage of those mistakes. So I think last week's win gave a very bad false sense of security, and it was exposed. I mean, y'all really can't name the Indianapolis Colts wide receivers before last week. I mean, unless you're like a really really avid football fan, you really don't know who Pierce is. You don't know who Pittman is. You don't even know what college they came from. So when you see that, and you see they're just moving up and down the field and torching our DBs, still, it's the first time that Jack Jones has looked bad compared to how he's played and how he's looked this season. He looked really bad in his hits, with his turns and his coverage, their communication back there. That's always been an issue with the Raiders, and it was exposed last week, this past week with Indy, especially after what we've seen with the Kansas City game. The offensive line was pushing the defensive line. The defensive tackles had been playing pretty well. I will say there was a very noticeable difference with the defensive tackles when you had Jenkins and Butler in there, and Wilson, Tyree really didn't play too much inside, and it was very noticeable. And I've been a big proponent of moving Wilson to the inside. And for that 4 game stretch, he was really progressing as a defensive lineman. This past week, they moved him and let him play outside, and he looked terrible again. He was terrible for me. I mean, I'm gonna be honest, I don't want to see him as a defense in next year. I might not even want to see him play defensive end next season. But I think with the off season, we can see what he looks like. But next week, I mean, our next game, don't put him at defensive end. Just let him learn and develop a defensive tackle. It was very noticeable. It showed that we definitely need middle help. I mean, we have comparable people, but we don't have good people still. Because Indy was definitely taking advantage of the inside run with the inside leverage. They were pulling guards, and we couldn't stop it. What's up, Ralph, man? Salute, man. Appreciate you for stopping by. Like I said, you got any questions, man? Just put them in the chat. What was that? Defensive tackles. Yeah, man. It was they didn't have a really good game. They didn't have a good game this week. They definitely regressed. Um, I will say, like I said, it was noticeable. I think Wilson needs to play inside still. I don't see him as a defensive end. He's not a defensive end. Make him put on weight, and honestly, I think he can be a good and develop into a possible great defensive tackle, just like Calais Campbell. Similar stature, tall, long arms, lanky, very strong, great bull rush, and can develop more moves on the inside to actually benefit his outside rushers in Kuntz and Max. And if you have that, then I think you have a very comparable line that can cause a lot of mistakes for quarterbacks and be very detrimental to quarterbacks mental back there because when Kuntz is back there and Max is back there, they get choppy feet, man. I didn't care what quarterback was. If they could do that to Patrick Mahomes, even without his weapons, and make him look like that, they can do that to anybody. and it was very, very noticeable. Like I said, I wasn't able to watch a lot of the first quarter of the game. Was able to watch the second quarter, the fourth quarter, and I did catch some of the third. I think I wasn't able to see the first drive, so I don't know how Indianapolis scored. I do know they just got seven, but I'm gonna catch a playback, and then I'll be able to give a better assessment of what transpired within the first quarter and how they scored. So I'm not aware of how they scored. I'm just watching from the second and the fourth quarter, as well as the third. I watched majority of the third, and it was just noticeable that their offensive line dominated the line of scrimmage against our defensive line that had been playing very well. Regardless of us playing against any team, they've been playing very well with the Kuntz Max lineup. But this week, I think they kind of went away from that, and you've seen a big discrepancy in consistency with that defensive line. Just playing Butler and Jenkins in the middle. Um, I'm trying to think. I think Max had a couple plays, but he wasn't as impactful in this game. Kuntz, I don't remember really Kuntz doing anything for the three three quarters that I watched. I don't remember Wilson doing anything. Linebackers have been silent again. They weren't impactful. I mean, they made plays, but they weren't in like they're just not impactful. They're there. It's like they're just there, and they're not making like momentum changing plays. They are making tackles. They're making clean tackles, but there is no impact on what they're doing. They're not making no big hits. They're not. There's just I don't remember anything about them during this game. I know Diablo had tackles. I know Splain had like a tackle or two, but like we need momentum changers. We need people who can pop, who can hit, who are gonna rile the team up. We need like a Takeo Spikes or like I know Brian Dawkins was a safety, but we need somebody back there that's just loud. We need someone who's very talkative. We need somebody who's great with communication. Because I mean, Diablo's good, Spillane's good, but if you need a talker somewhere, but between your defensive line and your linebackers, someone has to talk. Uh, I mean, Max is a playmaker. I mean, I would love to have a playmaker and linebacker, but it's not in today's NFL. It's really not required. I mean, like look at Dallas's. They don't got really no dominant linebackers. Philly don't got no dominant linebackers. Um, Baltimore really isn't dominant linebackers. They got very serviceable linebackers, but I don't think you need playmakers. I mean, it would be nice to have playmakers, but playmakers really aren't linebacker right now. I think with the Niners, or Seattle, they're not big playmakers. They make. I mean, that's funny that you could say they're not playmakers, but they do make plays when they're needed. But they're just high IQ, smart. Um, they tackle on open fields. Kuntz has been coming along for a long time. It's just now he's finally getting the shot and he's taking advantage of it. Especially when you can get solo coverage. And people are now realizing, he's been doing this for a while. And now it's just all coming together. His body's right. He's been healthy. And when you have a big old monster who's next to you on a defensive tackle that's gonna eat up those the guards and prevent the help from coming to you or the running back to chip you. You see what he can do. Hey man, what's up, T man? Appreciate you, T209. Appreciate you for coming by here, man. Um, I think what's good, Joe? What's good, Joe, man? Man, I'm doing good, man. I'm just here talking about the game. I know y'all been down. I know it was a mess. People's New Year's was a little bit rough. But I'm just here to talk, man. I'm just here to talk. I've been seeing and hearing people in the chat saying things about, oh, I'm probably happy about this. I'm not happy at all. But I'm just here to talk, man. We're just here to talk about it. Give my assessment. Uh, But yeah, man, I know it's. Hey, man, I've been doing the reality stuff. As you can see, I'm not trying to cuss as much, but I know I am. I'm not. I haven't got to the part that's gonna like really bring out my attitude a little bit because, like I said, I am a little frustrated and upset because again, it's getting close to that off season, which is the most important season for us. Did the coach loss affect AB's chances of being the head coach next season? I guess you guys do see in the title. I said it's AP a fraud. Um, it can. Is it? I mean, I don't. I feel it shouldn't, but with who's running the team and how it's going, I think it will have an impact. I think he'll have a chance to improve his chances if he gets a second interview, or well, he's going to get a second interview if he interviews or has to interview. Um, I will say this upcoming game is going to be have a bigger chance of have more impact on his hiring chances. I don't think Indy should because again, I didn't put that much favor on our win against Kansas City. Once like, you start looking at it and you start understanding like what was going on, I didn't. I mean, we finally did beat Patrick Mahomes. We finally did beat Kelsey, but that's it. We didn't really. I don't like Kansas City wasn't Kansas City. We beat a hurt, injured Kansas City team, and you've seen the difference between when you're playing teams that are hurt and they don't have their guys. They don't have skilled guys. They don't have their explosion. I mean, you can make them one dimensional as they very were, and they didn't have a run game. Like you can see, they're human. Patrick Mahomes is human. Like any quarterback, we used to say this shit we used to say it all the time with Derek. If you can make him not set his feet, he's gonna make a mistake, and that's exactly what we did to Patrick. And we don't have the guys out there that he's used to. The timing routes were off. He was throwing balls that were bad, and it made the defense look better than what I have been saying than what they really are. And throughout the whole season, we've definitely benefited from certain areas of injuries, especially going against teams that didn't have their number one quarterback. But I I hope I'm not saying I hope I guess you can say I do hope. I hope it doesn't have that much impact, Joel. I hope it doesn't. But starting to think the more and more I think about it, I think it might. But I think he has a chance to overcome that with next week, with how the team closes, how the team looks, um, seeing who plays. If I'm Josh Jacobs, I don't think I play next week. If I'm still hurt or whatever, I'm gonna take that extra week off. I feel he should play if he's playing for the contract, if he's trying to show his availability, if he's trying to um, show his determination and that he's there for the team. He probably will. I'm not sure how hurt he is, and if he's that hurt, I don't think he's gonna play. But I feel he should for what he wants. Um, also, man, that was a good question because it has me thinking like how much that loss impacts the team. I mean, but then also you can think how is Mark taking that loss? Like how is he taking that loss? Does he feel that the loss was blown because of a bad call? Does he feel it was blown because the offense, something AP doesn't really control, or has his hand on and puts his philosophy in? Was it more of an offensive loss, or is he saying it was a defense? Will he be gone? If you're saying he and saying AP, I'll say what I want. I would say if I'm basing off of me, I think he's 40% gone. I think 60% he has the job. It's like 60-40 right now. I say he gets the job. I think he's done. What's up, Yusuf, man? Appreciate you for stopping by, man. Like I said, we here, man. I know people been waiting to hear what I had to say. I've been seeing you on the chat, so I decided to give you guys some. I'm finally back from vacation, man. New Year's, Happy New Year to everybody, man. Appreciate y'all for coming in. But AP, I'm saying it's 60-40. How I'm feeling after really looking at Joe's question and thinking about it, I think it could be in reverse right now. I think he could be, 40% his, with an opportunity to change that. Like I said, granted, he has an opportunity to truly impact his hiring chances and increase that, or he can, decrease that by how the team looks, how he's going to have the team ready. Like right now, look, we're out the playoffs, so we literally have nothing to play for. The guys can pack it in, and if the guys pack it in and the guys don't show up, and we have guys who are, already in Cancun booking their trips, none of the family shows up, then yeah, he might be gone. People might get their wish. I don't want, a lot of people want Jim Harbaugh. I don't want Jim Harbaugh. I'd rather have AP. I think it's more important that we get the proper and right offensive coordinator in there. Like I said, people are going to ask, well, what do we do at quarterback? Again, I don't care about the quarterback until we get the offensive coordinator. I think our offensive coordinator is the most important move this offseason. It is, but I mean that's what happens when you're a losing team, when you're a losing franchise. You're looking for a miracle. You're looking for a shot, a breath of fresh air. This is what happens. At the end of the season, when people have packed it in, people are out there, it's just what it is. You got nothing to play for, and now it's like, okay, well, what we gonna do to get better? What we gonna do to get over the hump? You know, uh, he probably is. I've been saying it, especially how he was treated, how early in the season with Josh McDaniels. Like I said, AP's done a great job in recouping that, but it's going to come down to money. At this point, it's going to come down to money. What we offer, what he's seeking, what he's looking for, what other teams are going to offer him. I mean, that's what's going to come down to. How comfortable he is, how much he likes it. Is there going to be is there something going to draw him away and be more appealing? I feel the Colts game was very important and did affect his chances. I agree. I can't disagree with that at all. We lost to an inferior team after a big win versus KC. Was the Colts an inferior team? No, they weren't an inferior team. This was a 50-50 game. I think you're putting too much on name recognition because you're saying, well, we had Devontae Adams, we had Max Crosby, we have names. Okay, cool. So do they. And their names and the players that they have, like Gunnar Minshew, is a better quarterback than AOC. He's proven. He's done it before. So they have a better quarterback off rip. They have an offensive coordinator who knows what they're doing. Um, their defensive coordinators are better. Like where it matters the most, their players were there. They had their running backs. They had their number one and number two guy there. Their defense is solid, just as good as ours. I think overall they have more talent. I mean, like top tier talent. Yeah, we have more top tier guys. You know what I'm saying? We have overall better quality, but I think they have more quantity. I think they have more quantity guys than we did. Oh, and that pays well at the end of the season. You know, sometimes at the end of the season, it's all about who's available, and they have more available. Um, so I'm not going to sit here and say that they were inferior at this time. No, they weren't an inferior team. I think it was a 50-50 game. It was a toss-up game. Both teams had something to play for. Both teams had playoff aspirations, and they were just a better team, and they proved it. They didn't make the mistakes. They didn't make the turnovers. They didn't have costly penalties. They were more focused. Um, they had a better game plan. They had a better scheme, and they got the job done. I'm not gonna bank it that, oh well, we lost on the field goal. No, we didn't lose on the field goal. There were still 60 minutes that was played, 48 minutes that were played. So no, I mean there was still a whole game that was played over one play. You can't do that. Can't. So I'm not gonna sit here and just give us a bailout because it was a bad call. It was a subjective call at that. It was subjective. And as Raider fans, yeah, I know we're gonna bitch and moan because we just never get the benefit of the doubt. I mean, we have got a couple calls that gone our way this season. That's changed. We haven't got as many calls. I think we're not the most penalized team by far this season. So I mean, like I said, it's baby steps. So to sit here and say that play cost it didn't cost us a game because we had 48 minutes to handle our business and we didn't. We didn't show up. We weren't ready to win. And as I've been saying all year, we're just not a playoff team. We've had a very favorable schedule with how it's played out this season when it comes to injuries. Granted, we had a harder schedule if you just look at the schedule compared to what we had last year. But at the time that we had those games, those teams were not full strength. And when we had opportunities to win certain games and we didn't, it just shows you what type of team that we are. And we weren't a team that we're not a playoff team. I mean, like I said, I said our ceiling was 7 to 8 wins, and we're right there. I think 7 wins. I picked 7 wins before the season start. We can win next week. We could lose, but we're right where we are, and that's not a team that's going to get to the playoffs or win in the playoffs or get to the Super Bowl. So this is why I was not happy with the changes that were made, with the acquisitions that we made, who we hired, who we brought in. These guys weren't going to put us over the hump or get us where we needed to be. So where do we go? Where do we go from here, right? I still think we have one game to assess on the talent that we have. Where is our talent? Outside of Devontae Adams, outside of Max Crosby, what talent do we have? Literally. I mean, we've definitely had guys who are standout this season, but who is going to be on the roster next year from the current roster we have now? It just goes from, and this doesn't just go for players. This goes for coaches as well, from the coaching staff. We need a new offensive coordinator. I don't care how good we look next week. Offensive coordinator, appreciate you, man. Thank you. You did a hell of a job, for the situation you were put in, but you're not good enough. So we're gonna get somebody else in here. Defensive coordinator, Patrick Graham. Appreciate that, dog. Get up out of here. I don't care how good y'all think we are. We're not. Nah, we're not that good. Special teams coach, you can stay. I think you ain't really been put in situations for anything. I think special teams has been good. They haven't cost or had too many penalties. Special teams can stay. Wide receivers coach. As of right now, if I had to give an answer, I would think he'd be able to stay. Offensive line coach. Running backs coach. Depending on the offensive, you can go to. Running backs coach, you can go to. Tight ends coach, they have been playing better. I know it's your first season. You're a quarterbacks coach. I have no idea why Josh McDaniels was doing that. I think it's still the same. We were rebuilding. Once Josh McDaniels came here, it was a rebuild. Once Josh came, it was a wrap. I seen the writing on the wall. I knew what was happening. It was once you sabotage your quarterback who is serviceable, it was a rebuild. He didn't come here to build upon what was had here. So yeah. But if we're going to rebuild, you got to rebuild properly. You got to do it accordingly. So I mean, and with that comes a lot of tough decisions that I think a lot of people are not going to want to hear. I think a lot of people get turned off by it. A lot of people are going to bitch about it. A lot of people are going to cry about it and say, what the hell are we doing? But again, I think it is going to be a rebuild with your staff because I mean the staff isn't good enough. The staff isn't good enough, so you definitely have to start there with the staff. Get people who know what they're doing, people who know how to assess talent, people who know how to develop and build up talent. Because we have a lot of young guys that just aren't ready yet. Like you see, Kuntz took time to get to this point. Now he's ready. It just took time. We have a couple like Tucker's going to take time. Mayer's going to take time. We got a couple offensive linemen that are just going to take time to get better. I mean, they show glimpses and they show, you know, they have their opportunities to look good and they do. But if they're not consistent, that means that they're still in development. And we have a lot of guys on this team that are in development, and you have to make decisions on how long are you willing to wait for the development. You gotta, your current quarterback right now is in development, but are you willing to continue to develop him, or you see what you see what he is, understand what he is, and you move on for him, or you just leave him as a backup, or do you bring in a guy who can enhance what his skill set is? That's the biggest thing right now. Champ Kelly can stay. I mean, I like Champ, but again, just because I like him doesn't mean that it's good enough. I wish it was. I wish I had a bigger say in what in organizational moves because I mean a lot of things that I've said, unfortunately has come true. We just never made those decisions. Um, but who's to say Champ Kelly's even here? So if Champ ain't here, then we got to find out who the GM going to be. Um, so I mean, in a sense, it is a rebuild for our staff. It is a rebuild for our front office. And then from there, then you can talk about the team. But personally, right now, with the players that we have, I'm more focused on what our staff is going to look like this offseason because that's the importance. We've lost we've lost majority of our games off X's and O's and not off the play on the field. A lot of our losses are from coaching mistakes, coaching mishaps, being out schemed, lack of adjustments. Um, Salute, Kev, man. Appreciate you for coming in, man. So that's where I want to see the biggest change and where I'm focused on. I'm not as focused on the player personnel as I am with the front office personnel. Who I see as GM, the safe bet to say would be Champ Kelly. I think that's a safe to say. Winston Moss as DC, if we let. They're kind of the same person for me, but I would have to look more into Winston Moss. I can't remember what he's done off the top of my head, especially after this holiday weekend. There's a lot of things that are foggy still. It was a fun New Year's. So again, I'm gonna say Happy New Year's. Throughout the show, so Happy New Year to everybody that's come in new. Appreciate y'all for stopping by. Hope all y'all are safe, well, and in good health. Got to meet your family, say hello to your family. Wish everybody Happy New Year. Um, but yeah, hopefully, I think Champ Kelly has similar to AP. I think Champ Kelly is right now. I think he has. I'm not gonna say he has it locked up, but I think he's the favorite. I think AP has kind of dipped back, to the crowd. I mean, he did have a head start. I personally think we should give it to him after the KC game, after the Kansas City game. After talking to a couple people, talking to a couple friends that I know, how the locker room is, how he's rejuvenated a lot of guys in there. A lot of guys who had, or technically really were quitting on the team because they just did not care to play for Josh McDaniels and some of the guys coaches that he had. They literally were just out there collecting a check. They're actually playing for AP from what I'm hearing, and they enjoy playing and they're having fun. They're going out. They're doing team bonding and team building, which is required, it's definitely um, necessary for winning, like developing a winning culture or a winning tradition. building that family atmosphere that was very similar to our playoff run that we had with with uh, with I can't say that guy's name, but the last intern Baselli, I can't say his name, but y'all know what I'm talking about. So I want to see him get it. I thought he had it solidified after the KC game, but after what just transpired this week and what can possibly happen next week, I think next week is going to be the most important coaching game of AP's career. In every aspect from high school to the pros. I think this is the most important game of his career as a coach. So we're gonna see, because again, we're playing for nothing. Guys are not playing for anything. Guys have gotten their contract. They're gonna get their last check regardless of what's going on. You have a couple of guys who who gonna be playing for a contract. Whether they get it or not from us. Um, you know, I want to see who's going to be playing team ball, or is it going to be a lot of selfish ball? I just want to see what's going to happen. Who's motivated? How many guys are motivated? How they're going to look? How we close the season out is going to be very, very crucial to the decision of is AP going to be our coach going forward. Um, let me see. Let's see. I think there's a couple of other questions. Where do I see us next season? Right now, T, honestly, I cannot answer that question because, again, in a sense, we have an unfinished product. I don't know who our coach is going to be. I don't know who our quarterback is going to be. I don't know who our offensive coordinator is going to be. I think the most important thing is our offensive coordinator. I don't know who that's going to be. If I knew who that was going to be, I can actually give you an estimate, but I can't right now. So I don't know how to answer that question as of today. But I will answer it later in the season or in the off season once they do hire and make their moves. Um, we need to see who the GM is. Yeah, I agree. That's going to be another one too. Uh, Winston Moss. Graham is out. I think he has an opportunity waiting. He has an opportunity waiting with who? Where's Graham going to go? What organization you think is looking at him besides us? Kev, clean house. We do need a clean house. We absolutely need a clean house. But what is your definition of cleaning house, T? How much house needs to get clean? Are you just talking about cleaning house on the front office side? Are you talking about cleaning house on the defensive side? Are you talking about cleaning house on the offensive side? Or just everything? And how much? How much are you cleaning? That's the real question. Bo is not the answer at OC. No, he never was. He was just a guy that had to intern because he was just on the staff and he had the most knowledge of an offensive coordinator. So it was just, you know, he was in the right place at the right time. He had an opportunity to prove and show what he was, and you know, it is what it is. I appreciate you. Thank you for your service. If you want to be the offensive quarterbacks coach or skill position, I think we can keep him on at that. But as the OC, no, you gotta go. Jack Jones got his wake up call. Hopefully, yep, sure did. He got his wake up call. The defense got a wake up call. A lot of the fans got a wake up call. But I'm not going to sit here and say he needs to harp on that. That's going to happen in NFL. You're going to get wake up calls. And that's what it was. You're not gonna you're not gonna continue to get pick sixes. It just doesn't happen. He had a good 2 weeks. Well, I'm not even gonna say good 2 weeks. I'm gonna say he had like a good 4 week stretch where he was playing phenomenal ball. He had confidence, and like I said, a DB with confidence is great. It's a great thing. You do things differently when you're confident. And you saw what happens when you have confidence. You play with no fear. You don't second guess yourself. You don't think. You're just reacting. And you saw what happens when you're confident. You just react. You make plays. And I don't care who you are. If you're Patrick Mahomes, if you're Derek Carr, if you're Troy Aikman, if you're Tom Brady, if you're a half second late in the NFL, you're gonna get punished. And that's what he did. And that's what happens when you're confident. You're going to punish people, especially when they're not confident. And you see what happens. You know, and unfortunately, he ran up against the Colts, you know, and they were confident and they just played better. So you know, it's a game that it's a learning experience and a game that he learns from. So I want to see how he reacts and how he recovers and what he does next week. I still think he's the best corner on our team as of today. He's the best cover corner guy. So he is the starter. He's better than any corner outside corner that we have, cover corner. So you know, it happens. But wake up call. Hopefully he's not cocky versus the Donkeys. And I mean, the Broncos got better receivers than the Colts. So you know, hopefully he does get his wake up call, Kev. You know, hopefully he plays better and he goes into the offseason um, with a chip on his shoulder. You know, because he definitely got cooked a couple of times, and you know he was looking mighty pedestrian. Depends on the coach. If so, I see players getting cleaned out. True. I mean, a lot of coaches come in and well, this is what I want to see. A lot of coaches will come in and clean house because they want players to fit into their scheme. What needs to start happening, especially with us, is we need to get guys who will adapt their scheme to the players that we have. That's what I thought Josh McDaniel was going to do when he came over here and increase what we had and build upon what we had with Derek and Da, and he didn't. He was forcing people to fit into his scheme. He forced he forced Jacobs to fit in his scheme. He forced Derek to fit in his scheme. He was forcing Da to fit in his scheme. He's forcing everybody. You know, even the rookie was forced to be in his scheme and that wasn't working. I can't think of his name. Hunter Renfro, and you see how that happened. Like our best weapons for the past couple of years were looking terrible. So hopefully we bring in a guy who has the ability to adapt his scheme and develop his scheme around the guys that are on the team that he wants on the team. And even if the guys that he don't want, he still can build upon that. So that's what I want to see, man. I want to see guys who have the ability to adapt their scheme to the players on the team because they're the best that adapt their scheme in game. They're able to make adjustments because they can see it and survey the field and understand, okay, this scheme ain't working, and they get out of it and they know how to get out of it. And they also know when to stay in it. So that's what I want to see. I want to see guys who have adaptability in our coaching staff. Bo is terrible, but can't blame him too much. He did the best he could as an experienced OC. Yeah, I agree. Uh, I mean, well, is he terrible then if he did the best that he could? Or you know, are you saying he's terrible compared to everybody else, all the other offensive coordinators? You know, because that's pretty hard. You know, when you're in the AFC West and you got to get compared to Andy Reid, Sean Payton, two guys who won a Super Bowl. I'm not sure who the third OC is for San Diego Chargers, but yeah, I mean that's a tough situation to come in when you know that's your competition. But you know, it was a crappy situation for him. But he had an opportunity to show himself, and he just didn't step up. So you don't get the job. Sorry, you know, if you're not good enough, you're not good enough. So you know, it's time. You know, thank you, I appreciate you. Dap him up. You know, give him a good reference. Send him on his way. But again, Circus man, salute. Appreciate you jumping in here, man. What O-line scheme you prefer, power blocking scheme or zone blocking? We need to confirm this issue ASAP. Mm, I honestly zone or power. I would prefer zone because that's what's won the most Super Bowls lately. And in order to go to power scheme, you have to change your personnel. You have to get different wide receivers. and you get more possession wide receivers. You don't have big play wide receivers because you need guys that can block in a power scheme. And I'll be honest, it doesn't work out in this NFL anymore. I mean, shoot, the last like real power scheme offense I think would be what, Baltimore. But even now they're running more zone blocking than anything. Uh, like the Eagles, they're trying to get rid of the of like those whatever they call, the quarterback sneak. The way they're doing it, that would be power. I like power. Don't get me wrong. You need aspects of it, but I just feel if I want to win a Super Bowl, I'm gonna go more zone blocking. Because that's what most guys know. Like if you go power, it just takes too much. It takes too much investment in power, and you have to commit to that. And I don't see us committing to just going into a power blocking scheme, and just running power I or over zone or I just don't see it. Um, oh, because if you run a power scheme, then you're not having a mobile quarterback, and I think everyone's going into the mobility era. You need a mobile quarterback in this game. Defensive linemen are too fast. I'll be honest. The offensive IQ for players per per position is dramatically getting worse, and I don't think guys are smart enough as they used to be. They're far more talented. Don't get me wrong, they're talented, but as for IQ and just overall smarts on the field, I think it's diminishing very fast with every class. The more talent you see, the less IQ that you see on the field. So I don't think Powered would work because that requires a lot of scheme, a lot of intelligent players, a lot of reading, a lot of knowing your blocking responsibilities and secondary responsibilities that I just think guys aren't smart enough to do anymore. It, um, it's becoming super outdated. But I would like to see certain plays in the power scheme that we have, But I would say it would be easier to be zone than it would be power. It's less of an investment. Who would be your plan at quarterback? Specific guy from the draft, AOC, or someone else? Um, Again, I'm not drafting a quarterback until I know who my OC is. Then I would be off that. If I get an OC that I like, I would. Who's available? I would go with prob. It's like this. Okay, I'm just like this, and a lot of people aren't going to like this. If I'm going to draft a guy, I'm trading Devontae Adams, and no one's going to want to hear that. If you're drafting a guy, I'm getting rid of Devontae Adams, and I'm bringing in a fresh wide receiver that he can develop with. Because Devontae Adams ain't going to be here for another 2 years. If we're drafting a new quarterback, he's not going to stay. He's going to be gone within a year. So I'm going to want to. If I'm drafting a quarterback, I'm also drafting a wide receiver. I'm looking for a wide receiver. I'm getting a young wide receiver. I'm going to get value for the guy that I have that I know isn't going to be here in a year or 2 years. He's not going to be here to see my quarterback develop into something. It's just not going to happen. So I'm getting, if I draft a quarterback, Devontae's gone. If I bring in a guy, then, but the guys who I think I could bring in, probably Russell Wilson. I'd rather draft a guy, I think. Personally, depending on what we do in the offseason, I would prefer to draft somebody over Russell Wilson. I don't want Kyler Murray. Who else is going to be out there available? Joe Flacco. I don't want Joe Flacco. Um, who else is out there that would be available? You know what I'm saying? There's people that are out there, but that are available that I want. Justin Fields is trash as a quarterback. He's supreme athlete, but he's Terrell Pryor. He's not good. I know he's 25. I know he's young, but he's a project. Nah, he's not. He's an athlete who can play quarterback. He's not a quarterback who's an athlete. And I want a quarterback who's an athlete. I want Patrick Mahomes as a quarterback who is an athlete. I don't want the opposite. So yeah, Justin Fields, nah. I would use him like he's like Taysom Hill. Justin, if you develop Justin Fields in that Taysom Hill, you got something. But I don't want that. You know. Um, but that's what I would say. So my prime objective this season is getting the best offensive coordinator I can get. Then I'd go from there. A lot of people are going to say I want a mobile quarterback. I want a serviceable quarterback. I don't need the best guy. I need the right guy. How do I feel about Tyree so far? Still a raw player, but he's starting to wake as an interior defensive lineman. Um, Tyree, below average. I said it at the beginning. I said it at the draft. I said it after the draft. The guy's a defensive tackle. Y'all know what I said. Y'all heard what I said. We finally moved him to defensive tackle. And last week they played my defensive end. And you saw how bad the defensive tackles were looking against the run. So you're starting to see his impact is more impactful as a defensive tackle. Hopefully, we're smart enough to realize that. I don't know how good Patrick Graham is at realizing that because he moved him to defensive end a lot more, or if that was a defensive line coach who did that. I think you're an idiot, personally. And whoever made that decision needs to go. I wasn't high on Patrick Graham. I'm still not high on Patrick Graham. Um, I don't think Patrick Graham should stay, but I don't have a reason to let him go either because the defense did get better. But I just don't think he's good enough, and I don't think the defense is good enough. I don't think the defense is as good as advertised as people are saying they are. They're just not. But Tyree, I would give him a D. Um, as a defensive tackle, I'd give him a D plus, C minus. Like I said, um, he he's just strong. He's just strong. He has no move. He can bull rush. That's it. So, I mean, if that's all you have, you're not that good. I mean, for me, but I think he actually is serviceable as a defensive tackle. If I see him at defensive end, I'm going to lose my mind because the dude is trash. He'll be out the lead in 3 or 4 years if he stays at defensive end. He can play 8 or 9 years if he moves a defensive tackle. But we'll see what happens after offseason because they're not going to give up on him. They're going to work with him. If he does play defensive end, that boy better start looking at Reggie White tape and learn the hump move. If y'all see him, a Tyree Wilson, if I wasn't a big fan of you, I'm not a big fan of you, prove me wrong. But if you need help this offseason, watch Reggie White go to D-Line Press on IG, go to his camp, and that guy will get you right. You need to watch Reggie White. Y'all have the same build. You're very similar in strength. He is a little bit stronger than you, but you have an opportunity to get stronger. Watch him, watch the hump move, and you'll be dramatically better. But yeah, Tyree is AOC is a good backup in my eyes. Absolutely, he is a good backup. He will be Ryan Fitzpatrick ish guy. You know, um, he'll be around for a long time. Is Zamir the guy moving forward? No. Or are we re-signing JJ or drafting someone new? We might re-sign JJ and still get rid of him and draft somebody new. Zamir is not the guy. Zamir is serviceable, but he's not the guy. I heard they're eyeing Russ in Fields. Yeah, because I mean that's who we can get. So I mean I understand it. Do I like it? No, but do I understand it? Yes. We need a quarterback, and both of them are better than the quarterbacks we have. Uh, I saw Afakasi. What's up, Afakasi? I didn't even see you, man. Happy New Year. Ozzy, Ozzy, Ozzy. I think we should draft another running back if Josh ain't here next season. Um, I mean, we will, but where are you talking about drafting a quarterback? I don't think we should draft a quarterback within the first 3-ish, 4 rounds. If a guy falls to the fourth round or down, that's the first round guy, then maybe. But I don't see us drafting somebody in the first 3 rounds with as a running back. So if you're not willing to draft someone like that, I don't really want to draft somebody. There's gonna be a bunch of guys this offseason that we could pick up. I think Zamir is decent enough to replace Josh, but I don't think he's good. I think he's just serviceable. I think it's going to be running back by committee at that point. And then you're going to start moving guys up from the practice squad and just, running back by committee. Salute. No problem, you said, man. Thank you, man. I appreciate you. Detroit OC. I said that. I know I said that like 2 or 3 weeks ago, but is gonna. He's commanding a lot right now. He's in the driver's seat. He's gonna want more. Um, Shoot, he might get depending on how well we do next week, he might get an opportunity to be our head coach. You know, yeah, as you said, Pizzle. Yeah. Um, Da ain't it. I mean, I'm not gonna say Da ain't it. He's just not it with us. Like I said, if you got nobody who can give him the ball, what's the point? You could be the best wide receiver in the league, but if you can't get the ball, then you just can't get the ball. You're kind of useless, and you could be taken out the game, and that's what's happening. So, like I said, if we're drafting a quarterback, I love you. I'll always respect you, but I'm getting rid of you because you don't improve my team. And I've said that many times. I said that last year. Um, you know, I said that about last year about him. I said that about Waller. I said that about Renfro. I said that about JJ. I wasn't wrong. So yeah, if you draft a quarterback, I'm gonna be honest. Like Raider Nation, y'all need to understand. If we draft a quarterback, should be gone. You should not keep him. If you're trying to get better and you're trying to build upon things and you're trying to get to being a Super Bowl contender and not just someone who sells teats and you're just not there for entertainment, then you don't keep Devontae Adams. You get value for him, you get picks, and you develop your team and you build up your team, whether it's through the draft or whether it's through free agency or whether it's through in trading and getting young players that are going to develop here. You don't just keep somebody just to keep somebody because of their name. That's stupid. Uh, yeah, I see you, T. I think hopefully a lot more people are understanding of that, and hopefully the right people in our organization understand that as well. Baker, hell no. As a backup, yes. I don't care if you have heart. I like guys who can actually win and are skilled, and Baker isn't a winner. He's never won. He's never won in high school. He didn't win at college. Like I said, he can win. He can win games, but when it comes time to winning the game, he doesn't. He never shows up. So no, I'm cool. Uh, we are we are not aggressive at drafting. We I think we actually are pretty aggressive at drafting because we went out and got Tyree Wilson our first round one. That's as aggressive as you can get. I mean, it's a reach, but when you're reaching, that's you being yeah. I mean, maybe you're saying like aggressive as in trading up or things like that. I maybe at that, but it is. What's up? What's up, Romero? Oh, hey, I'm butcher. I'm sorry. I'm bad with names. Uh, Raider Romo. Yeah, it's terrible. I could read, you. I could read. Is Trey Tucker a starter in your opinion? No, he is not a starter. But he is definitely a change of pace guy that you need on your team. He's an explosive guy. He can take off the top of defenses and stretch the field. You just need a guy who can throw the ball, who can stretch the field with him, and you need a guy like that on your team. Uh, uh, hey, what's up, Menace, man? See you. I see you. Uh, I like Tay, but I'm not against trading him. It just has to be the right quarterback in the draft that I'm trading him for. So, I didn't talk about Russ, but I did say that in responding to someone's question, he's a better QB1 than we have. So, I mean, if you were looking at a quarterback, then yes. I mean, he's definitely a viable option for our team. Do I prefer to have him? I'd rather roll with AOC. than have him, because Russ is going to command too much money off our books. I wouldn't want to take his contract on. I'd rather go with AOC and let him, have a second year within an offense and develop more than to go with Russ. Now, if we had a more developed team where you just had to manage a game, I'd be more comfortable with Russ. But as of right now, I wouldn't want him on my team. He's also not a good locker room guy. Yeah. Um, he doesn't do too well with younger guys. He does well with older guys, which is why he definitely did well with Seattle. Because he just fits right in. He's not a he's not a big flashy guy. But when you have a young team like we do, um, you need certain characteristic guys in your locker room, and I don't think he has the characteristics to be in our locker room and win over and demand the respect. I think AP would help him, but as for play on the field, I don't see it. I don't like it. I don't want it. It when younger Russ, yeah, I take younger Russ. Older Russ, I don't like older Russ. Um, I said it. I've said it multiple times. I would trade Devontae Adams in a heartbeat because I know we're not winning with him. And it's that simple. I can get a lot for him right now to improve my team for the future because we're not winning right now. So trading him for value, for his value or more value, is what I'm looking for. And I want a GM who understands that and knows that and isn't just here to just move things around. And I want to get something for that. I want to win. Like, yo, we're gonna get 3 or 4. Like what Gruden did with excuse me, what Gruden did with Mac. I want to see something like that. Um, Let me see. I think there was a couple other things I want to say. It's been like an hour. What about Winston? I don't know enough about him really to comment on that. I'll have to look into it. Like who? Well, actually, who's he the DC for? I don't know where he's at, honestly. I haven't really been looking into DCs. I disagree. He's 100% a game changer. He's just not a game changer with us. We don't use him effectively to be a game changer, but he's 100% a game changer. Yes, I'm good with AP as a head coach. I don't want Harbaugh. I know Harbaugh. I understand Harbaugh. Guys don't like Harbaugh. Pros don't like him. College kids love him. He's great. He's a great at development. He's great for 2 or 3 years, 4 years, with guys who are right there, ready to win and ready to build upon and ready to take that next step. That's what Harbaugh's good at. We're not there. We don't have that team. I don't. And if I'm Harbaugh, I wouldn't even take the call, unless you're giving me everything I asked for. I don't even take that call. You're gonna talk to my agent, and if my agent says, yeah, we're not getting what we want, I won't even call you. I have everything I want at Michigan. I'm gonna get better opportunities at Michigan. I have a way better media at Michigan. I can walk on water at Michigan. I'm not leaving there just to go to Vegas to go to some half-ass team where the media is gonna kill me, where the fan base is gonna kill me, where the fan base is gonna talk crap and talk shit to my family, say all this and that. Nah, nah. I'm staying. If I'm him, I'm staying at Michigan. There's no point in leaving Michigan to come to the Raiders. No point at all. Um, but me, I do like AP at head coach. I like him at head coach. He definitely needs to get him a staff. I think the Chargers would be a better fit for Harbaugh because they have a better opportunity to win now than we do. They have a quarterback that he definitely will love to have. He has a good running back. He has a very serviceable and good defense. It's just they just did bad with their H's and O's and their head coach and defense coordinator. So I think the Chargers are in a way better position than the Raiders are right now. Um, so yeah, it's a lot less that he would have to deal with. I don't know their money situation, so I don't understand that. But I think they're in a position, a better position than we are. Harbaugh has too much of an ego. Seems like he's always involved in some sort of drama wherever he goes. Could be personal bias, but I'm hesitant on his hiring. Um, no, I'm not gonna say that. He has ego, yeah, absolutely. But he's involved in somewhere. He wasn't involved in anything in Stanford. Excuse me. He really wasn't involved in anything with the Niners that I could remember. I could be wrong about the Niners, but I don't remember anything there. Um, Eagle, yeah, but you have. I mean, for his style of coaching, you kind of have to have an ego. But it's a hit or miss. It's really a hit or miss. In the pros, one wrong thing, you could be on a player's shit list. Like again, you're going from teens and young men to grown ass men. So you can't say the same. You can't have that same speech that you have in college as in the pros. That was Chip Kelly's issue. Chip Kelly couldn't do it. Nick Saban didn't know how to do it. A bunch of people didn't know how to do it, and that's why they have a hard time with transitioning to the pros. So I just don't see it. But it works. It does amazing. It works wonders, and it develops guys in college. It develops young men and teenagers in college. It does not really work in the pros. Um, do you keep Bo? Fuck no. I mean no. Do you keep Bo as an OC or get more experience OC? You actually get more experience. Um, Ken Dorsey, just off memory, I'm gonna say he's better than Bo. So if he's like the only option, I would say yeah. But I don't want Ken. I'd rather go somewhere else. I'd rather get young. I don't want old blood. He's old blood. I want new blood. I don't want old blood. Bills OC, I would like. I would like that a lot over what we have. I think he definitely deserves an opportunity to have better exposure than he does in Buffalo. Um, but I really haven't looked more into offensive coordinator. I did like a couple weeks ago, but I had moved on from that. But yeah, Bo is no. Bo don't know. No, this Bo does not know. So yeah, Bo gotta go. Bo got to go. That's the motto. Bo gotta go at the end of the season. It's your last week. You know, we can reevaluate you as a positions coach, but as an offensive coordinator, you gotta go. I'm gonna say evaluations, things that I think need to happen for the Raiders. Start. The most important thing this off season, offensive coordinator. That's more important than a quarterback. That's more important than your offensive line. That's more important than your running back. Is your offensive coordinator. I can. I don't want to, but I can live with Patrick Graham as my defensive coordinator. I cannot live with what we have as an offensive coordinator. You know, AP is the head coach. That's fine. Offensive coordinator is one. For me, at number two would be GM. Number three for me, offensive line coach. It's kind of close. It's like offensive line coach and or on the defensive end it would be passing coordinator or DB coach. I want that to be the same, like the passing coordinator and DB coach. That's like pretty close. It's neck and neck for three. Actually, I would rather have the passing coordinator DB coach at number three over the offensive line. Um, Number four, tight end, running back coach. Four and five will be tight end and running back coach. Um, yeah, that's the order I would put it in for what we need what we need to address for coaching. Um, that's coaching. But in order overall, I think offensive coordinator one, quarterback number two. At number three, I'm gonna say we need to address either defensive backs or defensive tackle. At three, at number four, that would be three and four. At number five, it would be um, at number five for what we need to address. I'm gonna say I'll go with offensive line. It was pretty close to offensive line and linebacker, but I think offensive line needs more help. Um, do you like Bo? Oh wait, Rod Woodson is available, possible DB coach. I really wasn't a big Rod Woodson fan of DB coach, but would I take Tomlin in a heartbeat? Uh, but Pittsburgh's not going to move on. If Pittsburgh moves on from him, they're stupid. And if they do, sorry AP, you got to go, or you can go to the staff, or you can go. Mm, now you would have to go if we were to bring on Tomlin. I think AP, yeah, AP would have to go. I don't even think he could be on the defensive staff. Um, I wanted to talk about a couple of things. Honestly, I think I talked about everything. Uh, Salute, what's good, Twan? Happy New Year, brother, man. Just getting it in. We live. We live, man. We talking about a bunch of things. We talked about recap week 17. Recapped a little bit of week 16 and the differences between seeing the difference between a team that's injured and not. Talked about the offense, talked about the defense, talked about the staff, talked about the position, talked about the players, talked about we talked about almost everything that I think I wanted to talk and address today. Right now I'm just going to address questions that you guys have or what y'all want to hear or things that you want to hear me respond to. Like right now, yeah, right now, just what do y'all want to hear me respond to? If there's any like drama or things going on within Ray Nation, I really don't know at this moment. I know a bunch of people have been saying they've been waiting for me to respond or hear because they think I'm just going to attack and say I told y'all so, or things like that. I've been hearing that, so I'm not here to say I told you so because I don't need to say I told you so. I'm not overly dramatic about um, the wins or the losses. I told y'all where I thought the team was going to be. I told you where I thought we were going to finish. I told you what I want to see, what I'm looking for, what I want to address this offseason. Like I said, because I knew we weren't a playoff team. I mean, we had the opportunity because of just how the season's playing out and how injuries have really like hampered a lot of team seasons this year. Um, but but like in reality, I didn't see us anywhere really sniffing the playoffs as much as we did. We've definitely taken advantage of a lot of opportunities that we had that we haven't taken advantage of in the past, which was nice to see. I love seeing how we're handling discipline this year when it comes to penalties, especially coming to like an intern coach who's definitely changed that dramatically, and you see the improvement in how the team is and the effect it has on games. Um, so I love that aspect. Um, I called 10-7. I wasn't too far off. No, you're pretty far off. Uh, yeah. Um, Because when you're 10-7, I think you're a lot better than you are at you're way better than you are at than even at 9-8. Like you're really, really like a good team. You just made a couple mistakes because if you're 10-7, that means you're like a mistake away from being 11-6. And no way in hell this team is even sniffing 11-6. Um, seven and 7, 8 wins is where, like, I said plateau was 8. That was our ceiling, but we're like a 7-6 win team, and that's where we are. That's where we are. Even if Josh McDaniels was still the coach, I still said we were 7-8, 6-7 win team where we can max out at 8. And that's what we've been. That's what we are. That's what the staff brought in. That's what the players was. Regardless of who the quarterback was, a team. That's what I said we were. That's where we are. I don't see, like I said, a 10-7 win team is really a team that can win 11 games because they just made a mistake to lose a game at one point. Like honestly, like yeah, I don't think we're a mistake away from any game really. There was no game that we were just a mistake away from being an 8-9 win team. I don't. Maybe I could be wrong. I don't remember any part of the season that we were that close. Like I said, everyone's going to say. I know people are going to say Minnesota. No, we were terrible against Minnesota. That wasn't like like one mistake away. No, we were just bad. Um, what other games? I'm trying to think of other games that possibly I could be wrong upon that, but I'm just thinking of other games. I just don't see it. Um, um, I think I would just, like I said, I'm gonna give a couple more minutes just to answer questions. I really addressed everything here. Oh, Jack Jones. I know that was in the title. But Jack Jones, from hero to zero, that fast, right? I honestly I didn't see a lot of people. I think I was seeing people who weren't Raider fans blaming him for that, and I was like, but no. Jack, he just like I said, we did talk about it earlier. I think Cam brought it up. He got a reality check because he definitely was having a really good stretch for a good 3-4 games. Like I said, I still see him as our best corner. I still have him, even if we draft a better corner, or bring somebody in. He's still my corner number 2. I don't see anybody on the roster that's better than him. I don't blame him for the loss because we did a lot more things. Um, we did a lot of other things that cost us the game that wasn't just on the back of him getting called for a penalty that was subjective. I don't blame the ref for the loss. I think we did a lot of things that cost us the game. Um, so, um, yeah. So, I mean, like I said, I'm going to love seeing the bounce back. I'm going to love seeing him go against those wide receivers in Denver, seeing how he fares up. They're some pretty big boys and they play physical ball, so I want to see how he goes against them. It's going to be a different atmosphere. Uh, there is going to be a quarterback who's motivated to come beat us. Former quarterback from Stidham who's going to be starting. So he's going to have something to prove. The team is going to have something. Hopefully, the team has something to prove, and they have something to play for. And as they're playing for AP, because I want AP as my coach. I really do like. I would prefer him as my coach, but I can understand if he's not going to be our coach. But I understand this game is an important game for him and determining who will be in the lead to be the coach for our squad going forward. So I want to see how he gets guys up and how he motivates them. Like I said, I am gonna. But I've pretty much talked about everything I'm gonna talk about today. Please comment, like, subscribe, post this up, reach this up. If you have any questions, put them in the comments, and I'll address them in the next live that I'll be doing. Today's Wednesday. I'll do on Saturday, maybe Friday, maybe Friday. If not Friday, definitely will be Saturday. And we'll definitely talk about give the keys of victory, what we need to see, what I'm looking forward to, what I want to see, who is on the trading block, who is on the block of getting cut in off season, and matchups. What I want to see within the matchups. But yeah, man, it's been fun. I've been here an hour and a half. I ain't gonna be on there longer. Definitely, there's gonna be possibly other people on. I want to salute everyone who came: Twan, Kev, Yusef, Menace, excuse me, T, Avakasi stopped by, Pizzo, man, uh, Raider, Romeo, Circus, everyone. Oh wait, Terrence. I didn't even see Terrence was in here. Terrence, Pizzle, Joel, Joel, and Kev. Everyone who's been coming by, man. A bunch of you guys been in here. Appreciate y'all for stopping by. We gonna get this. We gonna do this. Like I said, welcome to the King's Court. You know what I'm saying? This is the King of Controversy. This is the kingdom right here of Raider Kingdom. Like I said, you're going to get it nowhere else as truthful, as honest. Um, like I said, it's really the most honest place you're gonna get. I'm not subjective. I'm not. It isn't really what it's gonna be for optimism. It's gonna be the truth, man. Whether it's the hard truth or not. I want Super Bowls. I don't play for playoffs. I play for Super Bowls. I'm a winner. Like I said, if you like the truth and you enjoy the truth, this is where you need to be. Tell your people to come here. I'm not going. It's you know, I understand sometimes it's gonna feel harsh, but this is the truth. You know what I'm saying? Everyone always says the same thing. Raiders do that little diamond. Raiders play hard, get my hopes up, and then they let me down. You know what I'm saying? That the whole triangle effect, that's not gonna happen if you come here. You'll have the right perspective here. We have this perspective right here. You know what I'm saying? So come on by, hit that subscribe button, tell everybody to come here. I appreciate it. Like I said, we'll be reviewing other people's takes later. Thank you again, man. Y'all have a wonderful night. Happy New Year. Happy 2024. Like I said, I know a lot of y'all gonna love this. This is, Kobe year, Mamba year, man, a year of determination, a year of growth. Like I said, man, no one's gonna be better than me this year. No one's gonna be better than me this year with the honesty, man. There's gonna be a lot of growth. There's gonna be a lot of honesty. It's gonna be a lot of truth telling this offseason, man. A lot of truth telling. Because a lot of people be saying, all the other channels be saying the same old mumble jumble bullshit, man. That doesn't get you nowhere. That isn't honest. It is what it is. Critique, man. Appreciate you for stopping by, man. Like I said, I'm gonna make my rounds for other people. I know I ain't been around this week. I've been having fun. I've been traveling. I'm back, as you can see. But we gonna get it, man. I'm gonna definitely let everybody know my thoughts are, my suggestions, my opinions, what I think needs to happen, what I want to see done, what I don't want to see done. I'm gonna be, critical, but I'm gonna be constructive. But most importantly, I'm gonna have answers. Also, in this offseason, I'm definitely gonna do my best to try and get my friends on here and certain people on here. Hopefully, I can get a player or two, to see if they can talk. But we're gonna do that, man. We're gonna reach out. We're gonna branch. I definitely want you guys in the chat to come on here when I get more established and get better on here. I want to come on here. I want y'all to challenge my takes. I want y'all to challenge me. I want to increase everyone's information. I want to increase everyone's intellect when it comes to football, because I'm tired of seeing this fan base just be like, I don't want us to be the Cowboy fan. I don't want us to be the Cowboy fan base, man. We're not stupid and we're not ignorant. But a lot of people be following people who be saying the most ridiculous stuff, man. Yeah, unfortunately, critique. Yeah, I really was trying to eat crow this season. I would have loved to eat crow this season, but unfortunately, my prediction, it might be spot on this year or within a game. Like I said we're a 7-win team. I hope I'm still wrong. I would love to be wrong so people can say I told you so we have, talking points and talk, and that people can be, critical and critique me. But we are what we are, man. We're a 7-win team. We had a 7-win roster. We're a 7-win team, and the thing that's going around right now within a lot of Raider podcasts is people don't have answers. I got answers, and I'm gonna tell y'all my answers. I'm gonna give y'all my answers. But right now, I'm just reviewing the game, recapping what's been going on. Definitely just getting caught up. But I'm gonna be caught up this whole season. Like I said, if y'all have questions, if y'all have comments or things that y'all want to see me do, please put in the comments or message me. You can see me here. Right now, I am getting the IG ready, Twitter ready, so I'm gonna be posting that later. If anyone can post that, please post that, mods. But you can catch me at the Real Mr. October on IG for right now. That's my personal one. Look, I'm putting that on my IG. This is how serious I'm taking it. Y'all know I never put that up. Real Mr. October is my IG. You can catch me right here. Um, Twitter, I believe, is the same thing as well. But we will have that in order once I get that settled and get that back. But thank y'all for stopping by. Y'all have a wonderful night. I'm not sure who else is going on, but I believe some other people are going on if they're not on right now. Catch those channels, even though I be talking about them. Go support Raiders stuff, man. Go support everybody. Support Twan with the brown cracker. Support Eric. Support Dirty. Support Lunatic. Support Raider Critique. Support everyone who has a channel that is on there, man. Go stop by, give them a like, get the subscribers up, man. We support our own, man. So thank you again. Love y'all. Y'all have a wonderful night. And T, man, appreciate you for stopping by, man. Thank you for giving me the opportunity in your eyes, your ears, and your hearts, and your mind, man. Appreciate it. Y'all have a good night.